Let's summarize the module, and there are obviously a few different things that we covered. Starting out with fundamental SQL syntax. But one thing that we also learnt pretty quickly is that it only takes one or two characters and you can fundamentally change the nature of the query. That semicolon, for example, that ended the statement dead in its tracks. As soon as the semicolon appears, that's it. The statement is over. Anything after that is considered a new statement. And then we looked at the commenting syntax in order to stop anything that followed the semicolon from actually being executed. Another thing I talked about quite a bit was this concept of query versus data. So in other words, what is the statement that's going to be consistent across all sorts of usage patterns of the website? So for example, select start from color versus the data, which is going to come from the website as untrusted data. So that is data that external parties could manipulate. So in that color statement, we had a where clause that was looking for color number 4. So 4 was the untrusted data, and we have to think of that very differently to the query itself. You'll see exactly why in the next module. And finally, we looked at error messages, and those error messages can tell us invaluable information about the internal implementation of the database server. So they tell us when a table doesn't exist, when we get a column wrong, when we try to run a query which is syntactically incorrect. The database server loves to tell us when we get stuff wrong, and it would be extremely hard for software developers to do their job if the database didn't do that. But we, as attackers, are going to exploit that talkative nature of the database and take these error messages to execute a SQL injection attack and start getting data out of the system. So let's move on now and actually start mounting SQL injection attacks.